BB, it looks like we have a problem. Hello there and welcome back to Roguecraft. Today I find myself stumbling around BrownBanana's base. BrownBanana doesn't have as much time to play on the server as he used to, but before he went, he was kind enough to build these two nice little iron farms for us. Now if we go down here, we get to see how they work. I'm going to use the free cam mod to look through these walls so we can see what's going on behind the scenes. As you can see, it's just the standard zombie in a boat scaring the bejesus out of the villagers. Even though he never touches them, they never seem to stop getting scared. Now with my frame of mind, the only thing I was thinking was, but what about the shops? Is anyone thinking about the shops? And since he was so kind to build these farms for the server, we came to an agreement that I would build a shop for the iron as well as the enchanted books later on. Right now, though, we're focused on the iron shop. And while I build the iron shop, let's talk about my obsession with shops in general. You know, I've been playing this game for years, and until 2019... Wait, was it 2019? Let's just say it was 2019. I was off playing Minecraft on my own little survival world in Forever Alone mode. And then one day I decided to join a server. It had been a long time since I had played any game in multiplayer, let alone online. In fact, the last game I played online was when Asheron's Call first came out. So, you know, it had been a while. One day I saw Avamance was starting up a patron server, and I decided that was the one I would join. And it was pretty much what I expected it to be like, but to my surprise, I learned something from that experience that I never would have otherwise. And that is, player shops on a server add a whole new aspect to the game that doesn't exist when you play alone. In general, I enjoy caving and doing the grindy tasks of Minecraft. I'm not a redstoner, and I'm not much of a builder, and I mainly play the game to try and put work in the world out of my mind for a while, so doing the grindy tasks keeps you busy without having to do a whole lot of thinking. But then shops entered the picture, and suddenly all that time spent grinding away building up a super horde of materials had a purpose. You could actually sell supplies to other players who were builders or didn't have time or interest in doing the grindy tasks. And lo, GGG was born. Ever since, everything I do in Minecraft is done thinking about a possible shop for it. I mean, it allows me to enjoy the game and also allows me to help others enjoy the game as well, so bonus. It's not about collecting diamonds. I mean, let's be honest. Once you have a couple sets of armor and tools, what exactly are you going to do with a chest full of diamonds? The shops just added a feeling of purpose to the whole experience and also forced me to, stretch a little and move away from my basic wood and dirt hut build style at the same time. Now, for this build, I was searching online for shops others had done to try, and get inspired by something. As I've said many times, I don't plan out my builds very often. For better or worse, I build it in the moment, but I do sometimes need something to catch my eye and see if I can do a sort of Gragore's version of what I saw. In this case, I found Tangotech's Iron Shop from Season 4 of Hermitcraft. His build style in that shop is similar to how I think, but I don't want to just copy it outright, so I just took a screenshot of what he had done and started thinking about what I could do differently. The goal is to come up with something original, but if you see the inspiration of the old build in the new one, well, that's okay too. I mean, there's only so many ways to build a shop and not have it look like something 100 other people have already done, right? So, mainly what I tried to do was come up with a negative version of Tango's shop. What I mean by that is a lot of new, darker blocks have come out since he built his, and I chose to make heavy use of those while still making it obvious that it's an iron shop. The only real thoughts I have on building beyond does it look good to me are contrast and depth. I always try to find a way to break up sharp, square angles with high contrast colors or a bit of added depth. There's a current fascination with gradient builds in the last year or so, and I'm not a huge fan of them. I mean, they definitely have their place. If you're doing a massive mega build and throw in some gradients to add in the shadow effect, then it will probably look awesome. But if you're doing a relatively small build, and that's kind of what I build, the gradient effect looks like a little odd because you're going to see it up close. As a general rule, gradients only look good from a distance. Up close, it makes me think someone went out and bought 5 cans of paint and couldn't make up their mind which one to use. Now, this isn't meant to be a slight on anyone who does like gradients. It's just me saying that they just don't look right to my eye. Judging by what is on the internet, I would say it's safe to say I am in the minority opinion on this, and that's fine. It just means I doubt I will ever use gradients. And now, after much rambling on by me, we have reached that inevitable point in the video where I forgot to turn my camera on and record part of the build. So now, let's cut to the finished product after the fact and pretend I recorded this on the day. Now, as you can see, the storefront is very reminiscent of Tango Tech's version of the shop. However, I widened the shop overall, and I think with a darker block palette, it is a huge difference. Now, the lanterns are new, and obviously all the deep slate versions are new, but I really like how this turned out. As far as the interior goes, it's a very simplistic build. The shop essentially sells only one item, but this being built in 1.19, that item comes in 2 forms, the iron block and the raw iron ore block, or the pinto bean block. Ironically, you can't farm pinto beans in Minecraft, so they are much more expensive than a block of iron ingots. But for those of a discerning taste, pinto beans are available. As far as the shop goes, I really like how it turned out. You know, it doesn't look like I gave the Iron Golem a name. That's weird. I wonder what I should call him. I'm really just... My mind always goes to bad puns. Like irony? I don't know. He needs a name, I think. What do you think it should be? Let me know in the comments below. But as far as the shop goes, I really like this floor combination. I mean, mango with the bark and stripped crimson stem blocks go really well together. I mean, it's a nice combination. It serves as a nice color contrast to the rest of the shop. So, I like it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, so right now I'm in a single player version of Season 4. And I wanted to show you a new mod I've been using. You know, when you play Minecraft, we all do the same things. We all go out caving, you gather materials, you build up your horde, you build your base, you build some farms, you fight some mobs. You do whatever it is that makes the game fun for you. But every season, I like to do one big project. Oh, look, there's where I built my base this season. Just a bunch of trees. Almost didn't recognize it. But every year I try and do something big. And for those who may have missed it, a couple years ago I did a giant flower garden. And I want to do something like that in Season 3, but then I got obsessed with building the Wandering Trader Island for some reason. I mean, I love that project. I think it turned out amazing, but I wanted to do another flower garden, but I just ran out of time. But this season, I want to do a big project, and I want it to be another flower garden. I don't know what I want to do yet, but that's a problem for tomorrow. Right now, I want to show you a mod I found that is amazingly helpful at finding the flowers that you want. Now, up in the right-hand corner is the flower map showing you what flowers grow where you are standing. On the left is the color key that explains which color matches which flower. Right now, each pixel is only flashing red and yellow dots. That is because we are in a taiga biome and poppies and dandelions are the only flowers that will grow here. Each pixel will cycle through every color of flower that can grow on that block. But you see this little blue patch over here, this light blue patch, is a swamp. And the only flower that will grow in a swamp is the blue orchid. Also note how if you were to build a flower farm on the ocean, the only flowers you would get would be poppies and dandelions. Now let's teleport somewhere else in the world and see what this looks like on a regular plains biome. Alright, so now you're seeing a lot more color flashing on the map. That's because in a plains biome, not only do you get the poppies and the dandelions, you get the azure bluets, the oxeye daisies, and cornflowers. Now, if you look at this white and blue patch down at the bottom, that is a meadow, and it only shows the two colors because meadows only grow two different flowers. It changes with every single meadow, so this is really nice to know which flowers grow here. But recently, and I think the change was in 1.17, but it could have been 1.18, but that doesn't matter. Recently, they made a change to the biomes and how they generate. They're now three-dimensional. So how that affects flowers and how they grow is what flowers grow in each spot changes based on your Y level. Watch how the white and blue patterns change the higher I get. It's just crazy. But this mod, as you can see, is amazing at finding. It makes this so much easier. Without this mod, I'd be sitting here with a stack full of bone meal just trying to figure out what grew where so I could figure out a flower farm. But now, as you can see from all the colors on the screen, we're in a flower forest. Now, just to be clear, I have no association with the mod or the mod maker. I just think it's a really great mod. I'll leave a link in the description below for anyone who wants to check it out. Without this mod, I would have spent a whole lot more time trying to find locations for the flower farms I'm going to eventually need. As an example of how this works, I was looking for an area where I could get all 4 tulips. In Season 2, I found this perfect area in a flower forest biome where each different type of tulip grew side by side in rows of 2. I've never seen that since. I've been looking for it and still haven't found it. But using this mod, I found this area here. So at some point in this season, hopefully soon or soonish, I will be working on a flower farm or a flower garden. And this is me just doing the prep work, trying to find locations for all the flower farms I'm going to need to make that flower garden. Earlier we built the iron shop to sell all the iron from BB's iron farms, but BrownBanana also made a raid farm and a trade hall before being lured away by the siren's call of life. So we agreed I would build a shop for him so that all the enchanted books and totems would be available to everyone else. Now, when it comes to bookshops, they tend to either look like a giant enchanting table, a library, or some small mom-and-pop shop from the Middle Ages. So as I was thinking about what I wanted to do, I had a thought that I thought would be funny and original at the same time. Now, saying that, I fully realized that if I were to go online and look up if anyone else had ever done a shop like this, I would probably find 500 different people had already done it. So what I found is the trick to overcoming this problem is, don't go looking. If you have an idea for a build, don't go online to see how others did it. Just try and do it yourself first. You can always modify it later if you run into a roadblock. With the iron shop, nothing popped into my head that really stood out, so I went looking to find that inspiration. This time, I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and knowing lots of other people had already done something just like it would only prevent me from ever starting the build in the first place. So by now, it should be obvious that what we're building here is a giant librarian's head to sell all the enchanted books. I mean, what better way to get them than to climb inside and literally pick the brain of the librarian to get what you want? The awful truth about getting enchanted books in Minecraft is the last place you go to get what you want is the enchanting table. I remember when they made the big villager update and everyone was up in arms about how hard it was to get the books, but look at where we are now. If you are using an enchanting table to get enchantments, it must be very early game, or you have simply decided not to go the villager route. The fact of the matter is, every time Minecraft added another enchantment, it made the enchanting table more difficult to use. What I mean by that is, if you put a book in the enchanting table, the more enchantments there are, the harder it is to get the one you are looking for. On top of that, the randomness of what becomes available for a level 30 enchant is so wide and varied that it becomes frustrating to use when you spent all that time getting levels and still can't guarantee that whatever the spell may be is at least top level. Mojang should really rethink how the table works. I mean, maybe add a 4th level of enchantment, like level 50, where you know at least you'll get Prot 4 versus Prot 3, where things like Aqua Affinity will not appear on the list. Now, when I hear players talking about enchantments online, often the discussion steers towards adding new enchantments, like what is available in Minecraft Dungeons, or weakening some existing enchantments like Infinity, so that it's not literally infinite arrows, but helps make your arrow supply last much longer. And I'm not opposed to that. What I would say, though, is that before we add any new enchantments, let's take a look at what enchantments we currently have that could be merged together into one enchantment. The benefit of this would be to make the enchanting a bit more reliable and useful. The fewer enchantments there are, the more likely you are to get an enchantment from the enchanting table that you are happy with. Now, as an example, why do we have Fire Aspect and Flame? Why not just get rid of Flame and make it so Fire Aspect can be added to bows, and maybe even allow it to be added to crossbows? What about Sharpness and Power? Are they really all that different? Just make it so that it can go on any weapon. And if Sharpness and Power emerged, then why not get rid of Impaling and Piercing and have that one enchantment work on all weapons, with the special abilities that come from the current unique enchantments coming from the weapon itself and not the spell? What I mean is, set it so all crossbows have the potential to pierce, and its level depends on the Sharpness enchant, or whatever we now call that enchantment. But the overall point I'm driving at is, let's merge similar enchantments in common sense ways, and then discuss what new enchantments to add, and make sure they are applied in common sense ways as well. But all that enchanting talk aside, we've now finished the outer shell of the shop and need to start thinking about the interior design because, well, maybe seeing that you are inside a giant head is a bit too strange for a good shopping experience. And here we are. Because BrownBanana provided all the items in the shop, I thought it would be a good idea to name the shop BB&G's. The first item available here is the totem. There's an endless supply of those. And the books in here are, I would think, fairly priced. I really like how this interior turned out. It's like the little details, the inlets, like I said when building the iron shop, I just like a little bit of depth, a little bit of contrast. And here you can see I've entered into free cam mode to show you the exterior of the shop in a way I normally couldn't. This is the main reason I have this mod installed. I love being able to do this without having to use the replay mod. The book named BB&G. Possibly the biggest shop sign ever. At least the biggest shop sign I've ever made. This is BB&G's. I really like how this shop turned out. Let me know what you think in the comments below. So I think that's where we'll cut it today. The episode is a bit of a longer one for me, but we got a lot done. I finally got around to building some more shops, which puts us firmly on the road to creating the GGG Shop Monopoly. And what could be better than that? As always, I hope you enjoyed the video. I have been Gragore, and this has been Rowcraft. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, always try and find a way to make it fun.